Hello and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Last time we got into the Mundus Valancius system and we tried to help Jay get her trader permit for being able to go around and trade things and stuff. And we had to go through a process. We have the document, but we need seals, so that means we have to go back to both Kiava Gamma we gotta go to Kiava Gamma, I think it was, or Janus, and then we gotta go down actually to Dargonus where my palace is, and then we'll have 2 seals and we can activate her thing once we come back again. Then I also haven't been back in a while, so the Lex Imperialis DLC came in. From all I know about it, you get familiars that are more useful than just a consumable placement. They'll actually do stuff in battle, I think. And the only other thing I know is there's a new class that has something to do with shields. I think it was called an Overseer. So that'll be fun. It's activated, I believe. Let me double check if it's not going to be here. Because they picked their archetypes already, I believe. So it won't show. Anyway, there's one more guy that'll come in because of it, another teammate, and we also get a new class and access to familiars that can actually do stuff, and a new storyline, so we'll see when that pops in, but right now I'm going to go to the palace, and we'll see how this goes. Who should I take to the palace with me is the question. I don't think Yurliet should come, because having an alien with me to there would be kind of bad. Jay, I don't really want her, so I'm thinking maybe Cassian Argenta. And I know there's 2 more DLC coming later, because they released 2 DLC in this first season, which was all about the Bloodspun Web and the Gene Stealer cults with Cabela and all that. And now we have this Lex Imperialis thing coming in. And then there's 2 more coming later, I think in a year or so. Which will allow you guys, I'm probably not going to record a second playthrough, so you guys can do different choices and also experience those DLC for yourself if you'd like. Nah, great, we already got people gossiping. Cool architecture. Are we gonna get ambushed again? Clementa Wazarian. The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your lordship. I am Clementa Wazarian, Court Chancellor of the Von Valancius dynasty. On behalf of all of Dargonus, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora von Valancius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all, but as one star expires, another always flares to life, and although still overcome with bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you will become the trade dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. Clementia. And we got Achilles Escalander. We are supposed to meet him. Achilles Scalander, Secretary at the Administratum Department. I hope your journey to Dargonus was not darkened by unwanted troubles. We had some incidents, but those are irrelevant at this moment. Quite right, your lordship. What happened cannot be changed, but you still have great deeds ahead of you, so look to the future with hope in our hearts. Cool. He gets a portrait, but she doesn't? That's not cool. Does your lordship wish to survey the grounds, or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have? Governor Urbend Drivestem has been notified of your arrival on Dargonus, and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand by your lordship, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. It was on one of the planets we did something for this guy, the Drivestems. Or we could have anyway. Try to remember what it was. I think it was maybe this thing with the corrupted machine thing, but it could have been something else. Anyway, what did you say your last name was? You heard correctly, your lordship. I am of House Wazarian, Lord Avalard's granddaughter and direct descendant. The succession of service is an effective good. It grants new generations understanding of their function within the mechanism. Chancellor Wazarian has held her position at the Von Valancius court for many years. She earned Lady Captain Theodora's respect through acts of great perseverance. There's no room for doubt. Blood has nothing to do with it. Easy, Applard. I was only asking. Why isn't the governor here with you to greet me? Apologies, your lordship. Governor Drivestem's residence is on the other side of the world, by the Administratum Palace on Dargonus. We have sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it takes time to travel the great distances of your domain. Chancellor Wazarian appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with the new rogue trader. I'd like to rest before the meeting. Where are my chambers? They are very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her departure, but on account of your arrival, we've arranged for it to be tidied up. It is ready whenever you may need it. You're dismissed. I apologize for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes of conversation with me. I'm certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the Von Valancius Protectorate most useful. Okay. Talk to Achilles. And my crew's not with me. Okay. Second, sorry. It's an ancient cogitator linked to the palace's system networks. Okay, you guys are over here. Okay, they just left me and went to go do their own things, I guess. We're not gonna talk to these people? Alright. These seem like they would have something to say, but... A living fruit-bearing tree in the heart of a hive world is a fantastical sight. They probably use a lot more water to tend to this tree than the average Dargona citizen can hope to receive in their daily ration. But yeah, because everything nature and alive usually in this universe is dead. It gets nuked, paved over. I need, useless green when we can make it
something.
strong ferrocite or whatever it's called, basically concrete up to the max. I'll toss a coin. Glinting in the water, or glinting in the light, the coin falls into the clear water and sinks to the bottom. Nope, I didn't know if something would happen if I kept doing it. We got the Kiava Gamma people here. So it seemed like I did good by going to Kiava Gamma and Janus first, because honestly it doesn't seem like anything's happening here. The plaque lists the names of each rogue trader to have led the Von Valancios dynasty, dating back to the day the capital world was founded. That's pretty cool. Okay, and that's the exit. What are you guys, the St. Drusus people? Standing upon the altar is an ancient image of St. Macarius. Its regal frame is covered in marks. The relic was claimed in a battle on a remote and forgotten world. These are still going. I'm gonna do some quick level ups before we get in a fight and have to do stuff. You get 4, so I'll give you intelligence. Awareness, I guess. Overwhelming. And I'll do that. Enemies damaged by that do more damage, or get more damage from warp sources. Can move around more. I'll do that. Then we'll go for more awareness and intelligence. And for you, you want or not weapon skill, maybe perception. Actually strength, so you can start getting heavy weapons. That would be nice. And heavy armor as well. And then we'll give you probably more demolition to compete with Cabela, because we have either one of those in our party at any time. So more warp lore, and we'll give you willpower and Enemies have a failed against aliens suffer more damage. That's good. So if they fail, they get more damage on them, which is just gonna make it even easier to kill them. Intelligence, perception, fellowship, and that. Dominate. Biomancy, get another thing. Firestorm. I could do that. I could pair well with Pascal's ability when he turns everybody, or he gives everybody like burn, poison, and whatever else. She can make it so they stop they don't stop burning, so I'll keep that at least for a while. I do catch. Intelligence. And then awareness. That's everyone. Well, it looks like we got tons of wardens watching the place. We got air defenses. We got our whole party here, so if somebody does attack, they're not going to have an easy time. But I don't see who would attack unless it's another... what's it called? Another mutiny, riot, uprising. Yeah, but Kiava Gamma seemed the most in trouble. Then Janus, kinda. But it wasn't in direct trouble, really. It was just fighting against Slaanesh, like powers and mutations and stuff, and the Eldari. But the Eldari were technically fighting against the Slaanesh corruption and all that, so it kind of balanced itself out. So they were kind of there, but it was okay to leave them for a bit. This seems like, yeah, I did a right choice for coming here last. Your Lordship, let me inform you of the location of the chambers on your dynastic estate. The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Scalander, informed me that he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet with you there. Okay. So I'm gonna go down the stairs first. If you wish to rest after your long journey, then your personal chambers are on the stairs and on the right. That way, okay. If you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Thank you. That guy was really polite. Okay, we got some servitors getting ready there. Aristocrats arguing here, of course. There's some room there. That's my room that I need to go to, so I'm gonna go straight first. According to the inscription on the statue, this is a gift from House Gaprak to the Von Valancius dynasty. It's hard that you can't control the camera angles too well on this, but I wish I could like switch to like a little bit lower so I can just see from my guy's point of view, kind of. But that would be very difficult to program, I get. Glory to the rogue trader. Mistress Haydari, my patience is not easily exhausted, but you're coming very close. And it cut off before I could read it. I can see the family resemblance with Abelard now. You cannot see farther than your own nose. Let the rogue trader decide. Let me read first, so I know. I apologize for this ugly scene, but I ask that you rein in Mistress Haydari and put a stop to her inflammatory actions towards me. As the Exalted One is my witness, Shireen, I've tried everything I could to spare you any unnecessary headache over the seals for the Mercantum Tabula Officiale. I even showed this aid with a temper worse than a sandstorm the certificate with your signature. But your Chancellor merely kept batting me away with her flail of baseless denials. I suspect that the reason for this has nothing to do with my humble personage. Oh no, this isn't about me at all. I see. Well, Chancellor, will you tell us yourself, or should I help you? What is the matter? I'm afraid that my words may anger your lordship. The seal you are looking for was lost over a quarter-century ago. Her ladyship Theodora von Valancius ordered a new one to be delivered from the Imperium, but as you well know, we are a long way from Holy Terra, and with warp storms ravaging the Coronis expanse, we have been unable to receive a replacement to this day. Could this be the seal in question? This is without a doubt the Administratum seal from Winterscale's domain. But why is it the original and not a copy? I think I understand. Well, the law of the Imperium do not prohibit, I think I understand. Well, the laws of the Imperium do not prohibit heirs of other houses from using the seal in times of need. I'll order to have the servants of the machine cult create a duplicate so as to avoid such embarrassing predicaments in the future. There's something I must discuss with the Chancellor in private. Oh, by all means, Shireen, I dare not waste any more of your precious balm, that is your time, on matters related to me, if I may excuse myself. What are your responsibilities as Chancellor? To put it simply, I am your trade representative. Any and all decrees, deals, official communication, and meetings are first reviewed by me and then forwarded to you, and from you down the hierarchy. My purview also includes overseeing your lordship's property, the palace, the estates, the many gardens, and other demesnes on Dargonis that you have inherited from Lady Theodora. And whenever you are present on Dargonis, consider me your personal secretary. What can you tell me about Dargonis? All deals and important decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, an ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum, which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighboring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They now toil across the entire world. Dargonis is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. If I may express my not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly stands at the helm. Those piranhas think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the Protectorate itself, if not more. And lastly, Dargonis has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships, which are used to transport cargo between worlds. Does the capital stay in contact with the other worlds in the Protectorate? Unfortunately, not at this time. After the few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on Dargonis went into a frenzy, some of the Psykers were tragically pacified by the respective authorities. Since then, communication with the neighboring systems has been unreliable at best. Thanks be to the Master of Mankind that you managed to find your way to the capital. If the noble houses are so volatile, what sense is there in keeping them? Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy has formed with the ruling elite of Dargonis. The great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished, to a large degree thanks to their administrative work and their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements, but right now, it could threaten the fragile stability that is currently holding the Protectorate together. Are there any other issues that I should be aware of? Apart from the disrupted communications, Dargonis was recently raided by enemies of humanity. However, the fleet under the command of Captain Marthius Wazarian triumphed over the accursed Xenos. If you ask for my opinion on this matter, we have the situation completely under control. You catch her avoiding your gaze for just a moment, for the first time. It's obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name, but despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell that she does not entirely believe her own words. Tell me about Governor Drivestem. Urbend Drivestem is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonis, but throughout the Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administration and the logistics between the Von Valancius systems. The Drivestem's efforts have secured years of order and prosperity for Dargonis. What's more, Lady Theodora personally insisted that Lord Urbend specifically be made the next governor. The way you speak of Drivestem, I hear a hint of either contempt or resentment. No, I don't believe I feel either, your lordship. You're acting differently, though. We have different views on how to run a world. We sometimes have discussions over the laws that are enacted, but we both work for the good of the Von Valancius Protectorate. That much can be said without a doubt. Thank you. Achilles Scalander, does he cause any problems? Why, none at all, your lordship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the Von Valancius dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he has proven himself quite capable. And I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. Yeah, the governor can wait a little longer. I still have matters to take care of. Certainly. However, I do not concern myself with the governor's feelings, but I must warn you, your action or inaction may be interpreted in a certain way. Now, if you excuse me. The Von Valancius dynasty throne, a visible symbol of the rogue trader's power which now belongs to you. You right? I thought you were supposed to be in my room. Achilles, it's been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you, as well as her wishes for your Swifter's turn. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. I'm not so foolish as to fail to notice the conversation in code. Your insight deserves credit, Rogue Trader. Then again, I expected nothing less from Theodora von Valancius' successor. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent to the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Coronis Expanse. I'm sure you will find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences for the loss of Lady Theodora. I'll do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Kunrad Voigtvir's accomplices on the capital world. Do you know anything about what has become of Kunrad? The former Master of Whispers is a heretic and a traitor to the dynasty. Word of his treason reached Dargonis too late. Kunrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately, once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt, but it seems unlikely that the Wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their hearts and now nurtures it in secret. You promised me a report on the state of affairs. I've already forwarded all official reports to your seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I won't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonis' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonis, much like the nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest, or whoever they deem to be the weakest. The nobles of Dargonis are well-respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the Rogue Trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests, and each one expects that with the transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drive Stems, the Gapraks, and the Sauerbachs. I should also mention the Wazarians. Not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to the Blue Blood's great displeasure. Tell me about the Drive Stems. The Drive Stems are the ancient governor house of Dargonis. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the von Valancius protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that urban Drive Stems rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drive Stems, but we lack solid proof, and it may never surface. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the von Valancius heir, not his servant. What makes the Gapraks special? The Gapraks hail from a remote Forge world, and among their distant relatives, there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Gapraks oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiava Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. I've been to Kiava Game already. The planet was tainted by the cult of the Final Dawn. These are grim tidings. It's a tragedy that an industrial world of such tremendous capacity was brought down by the pernicious influence of the archenemy. Perhaps my colleagues can pick up the cultist trail in the cold void. Of course, it would be a small consolation to all of us. What can you tell me about House Sourback? Religious and hardworking, the Sauerbachs own many enterprises, including distillation manufactorums that produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the Sauerbach family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the von Blancius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora was a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. Well, we got Mistress Sauerbach, our Master at Arms. So we'll see how she thinks about that. I'd like to know more about the Wazarians. The Wazarians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonis, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they were never granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonis. And secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favor. The Wazarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. Oh God, after hearing that, I want to have all those sycophants execute at once. I'm good. Not good. Enough about the nobles. Was there anything else you wanted to report? There was, and this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet, Xenos, and the threat they pose both to you and to humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the Coronis expanse, warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. It is within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drivestem will beg you for protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert a disaster. Okay. What are your responsibilities on Dargonis? Officially, I am the secretary at this world's administratum department. Less officially, I am afraid I can disclose that even to you. In short, I collect and investigate reports of heresy taking root on upstanding planets of humanity. Above all, I am concerned about the Xenos threats that hang over the entire Coronis expanse, including your protectorate. Sadly, my mission was complicated by the recent warp disturbances. I'm still trying to re-establish contact with many of my agents. Tell me about Xenos. The residents of the local systems are no stranger to skirmishes with enemies of humanity. But recently the loathsome beasts seem to have completely flown off the handle. We're receiving reports from ships that made it through the warp to Dargonis. Both they and the colonies that they departed from are being attacked. We have identified the breed of Xenos that pose this threat, the Drukhari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. Be vigilant on your travels. The Xenos will undoubtedly attack a rogue trader's ship should they find the circumstances to be in their favor. Unfortunately, in the host of humanity, there are those who are willing to grovel before our enemies in the hopes of a valuable reward. You may be interested to know that we are on the trail of such heretics. Overwhelming evidence indicates that a plundered void station in Langren's belt is being used as a base by a band of pirates who are not above dealing with Xenos. I was unable to persuade the Chancellor of the need to dispatch a ship there, but perhaps you would like to pay a courtesy call to those scoundrels yourself. Okay, gotta go back there. Do you know anything about the Call of the Final Dawn? My knowledge is deplorably limited. All of my attention has been focused on tracking Xenos activity. I'm certain that Master von Kalox can tell you much more about the heretics than I. About your unofficial work. Yes? Whom do you truly serve, the rogue trader or the interrogator of the Inquisition? And whom does the rogue trader serve, the Golden Throne, the Protectorate? Could it be that one stems from the other? And if so, is there any sense in discussing it? I see, so you're not going to answer. I want a list of all your agents and the means to contact them. I can understand your desire as a rogue trader to have everything under your control, and yet I am not at liberty to make use of classified information related to the interrogator's agents in whatever way I see fit. There's no point in pressing my agents. None of them would ever reveal such vital information, especially not in my presence. Fine. The scars on your face, what happened? About 5 years ago, there was an accident. Several tanks of promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate, and I was buried alive under the rubble. The Emperor preserved my soul, and the skilled physicians of Jargona saved my body except for my lungs, with which I had to part. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery. Okay. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Drivestem has arrived at court. I imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is to notify her when you are ready to see Urband. Whoa. You got a bird, can I get it? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lysarius Carmelon, a collector of curiosities. Perhaps your lordship will find something useful among my offerings. What curiosities do you sell? Equipment for noble cyber assistance, of course. The demand is modest, as few in the Imperium can afford such luxury, but I am glad that you have found my calling. Judging by his attire, he came here following his heart and seems not in greed. I want to see what curiosities you have. Ooh. Are you guys a new group? I don't even need to level up with you. Okay. So we got domination and elimination. Oh, so this is the stuff. Okay, so we got for the Lex Imperialis DLC, we get the new familiars and stuff, and this looks like it's like upgrades for them. So I get all of these. I'll take them. When I finally get them and are able to use them, that'll be useful. I still need a little bit more, but I'm getting there. Nice. I am a rogue trader and I seek the rarest of curiosities. Do you have anything of that sort? My collection will offer you the biggest and broadest choice in all the expanse. However, even a devoted enthusiast like myself has his limits. Lost contact. Ooh. There's a certain captain who owns a unique protocol, a family heirloom, which he has refused to sell to me. His ship is called the Renegade's Fall. Perhaps you can chart a path to his hoarded treasure. I will send you the coordinates of the place where we last met. As a beautiful eagle, what's his name? Her name is Aquila. As soon as I saw her, I knew a creature of such proud grace simply must be properly taken care of. Now Aquila is an integral part of my life, as I am of hers.
Oh, she's so cute.
Wait, has two? Is that two heads? That's crazy. Apologies, Aquila is still getting used to my replacement extremity. She liked the old one better.
Oh.
Was your friendship with Aquila the reason you needed those augmetics? You are exceptionally observant. Developing a friendship with such a noble creature is a thorny path, and after a moment of especially profound disagreement, I had to have my hand replaced. But this was purely for the beauty of the thing. I used to be passionate about finding rare augmetics, and could not resist having them installed. Please keep this a secret from the Adeptus Mechanicus. I know the Red Priests don't condone things like that. If I want to purchase something, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Once I get more profit value and I get some actual things to put on that, I will definitely be coming back. So that's the first part of the Lex Imperialis DLC we found. Okay, I'm gonna quickly, before this happens, I'm gonna check in here. There's a faint mark on the polished metal piece, which was likely left by a glass.
Something of interest.
Boots. Breeze catcher boots. Whenever the wearer moves through a cell occupied by an enemy, the wearer gains plus 15% dodge against that enemy's attacks until the wearer's next turn. I don't know if I'll even have that on anybody, but I have it. The leather covers bear the names of the authors, mostly philosophers and theologians, from Dargonus. The spines of the books are trimmed with gold. The cogitator is producing rhythmic sounds, along with a faint ringing stands out. The remains of a plaque can be seen on the frame. Alas, the inscription is completely indistinguishable due to the aging. I didn't think it would go away that fast, my bad. This antique piece of furniture is obviously well cared for, but its surface is still covered with a lot of scuffs, scratches, and stains. Traces of the previous rogue traders who sat at
We
this
need to
table.
investigate.
A sturdy safe equipped with several bizarre mechanisms. Can I get into said safe? Yes, I can. A multi-melta. Nice. The largest type of melta weapon usually only employed by the Adeptus Astartes or mounted upon Imperial vehicles. Has a 3 cost area attack, but it does 21 to 28 damage with 60% piercing.
That's a lot.
Definitely picking it up. Okay, we got the bedroom here. The bed of the head of a rogue trader dynasty is befitting the status of its owner. By bringing your hand to the scan panel behind the books, you open a hidden door. What's this? A mysterious item undoubtedly created by inhuman hands. The mysterious Xeno artifact rests in a stasis field. Okay, so we got our alien stuff back here. That's not schemy at all. I get you gotta kinda hide it because, you know, this is heresy, but still. This is a lot of alien stuff. The shelves of the library are laden with dusty tomes. Your eyes linger on the works of several Administratum adepts and the memoirs of some unfamiliar explorer of distant death worlds. A mysterious item undoubtedly made by inhuman hands. Same here. Plasma Shaper Gloves. These gloves grant the wearer plus 10 to tech use and increase damage of plasma weapons by 3. I didn't read the other thing. There's a cape too. Has a red cape. Is one of these. Cloak of Hatred, maybe? Oh no, it was this one. Whenever the wearer hits an ally with an area attack, the wearer gains +1 stack of the Zealot effect until end of combat. Zealot. The wearer deals plus 10% damage with their area attacks for each stack of Zealot. So, if you hit your allies a lot, you deal more damage. Which can affect your stuff. An empty glass and 3 unopened bottles of wine sit on a finely crafted table made from dark marbled wood. Strange objects lie behind the glass of the display case. The complete absence of explanatory labels makes it impossible to learn what they are. The rare books arrayed on these shelves with their lavish, almost pretentious bindings seem to be identical. Dust has accumulated on the raised oil smears. If servants ever access this room, they do so very rarely. I'll sit. The secret room is remarkably quiet and almost homely. Perhaps your predecessor used it when she sought complete solitude. Listening to the muted melody coming from the Vox speaker, you can easily imagine Theodora reading a book with a glass of expensive wine in hand. Choose a book. Some are ancient, some have never been opened. Among Theodora's data, there has been restored using your cogitator and the phrases Litanies of the Motive Force. In the title, there's our Litanies of the Motive Force. As you pick up the book, a hidden button in its spine clicks under your finger. You notice a short inscription in the book from a faithful servant of the dynasty and lasting memory, DVVV. Change the music. The vid screen of the data slate before you displays the names of several Vox symphonies. You recognize the melody that is playing right now is the first of 36 parts of the Symphony of Honor and Duty. This one. Choose the piece of the Symphony of Honor and Duty Part 2. Okay. Have a glass of wine. 3 sealed bottles sit. They are labeled Grandmaster's Blood, Boon of Terra, and Flame of Purity. You recall the vision of the past that Idira told you. She said Theodore's favorite wine was Flame of Purity. The wine fills the glass, glittering in the dim light of the room like liquid gold. Its tangy flavor burns your throat, leaving behind a spicy, biting aftertaste. You hear a short, faint hum as an unseen motor stirs into motion. The room responds to your actions with a quiet, grinding sound, and a small nook reveals itself in the nearby wall. Inside you find a databank bearing the Von Valancius coat of arms. I got it. Let's go. Now I can return that to ship, and hopefully that'll be everything. I'm gonna look out here. That was a balcony. Like, everything is so vast, it's insane. Like, how do you even find time to build all this? This has to be like centuries just to build one building. It's insane. Alright. After all that, I think I'm gonna leave it here, because I don't know how long this meeting with Mr. Oh, I forgot his name. Something Slate. I don't know how it's gonna go for, so we'll see how that goes. So I gotta go back to Janus for that. Spires in a jar. Tell Wazarian you are ready to talk to the governor. Governor Drivestem, that's his name. I gotta talk to him next time, and then we'll see if we can get off the planet. Yeah, we also gotta go to the System Speculo for, I guess, to do that. And the Hive World 4 seeks to undermine the influence of the subsector's capital planet. The governor's agents seek rare and valuable minerals that will help 4 industry to grow and prosper. Anyway, after all that, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Leave any comments. I would like to, answer any questions, or just talk to anybody that watches these, because I do appreciate it. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a nice day. Peace. See you in the next episode.